Guys, there are spoilers for this film in this review, so if you don't want to get trapped in the past, go out with film, then come back. You have been warned.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time.
Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I am your host, Runtime HD, and this week we watched Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, a film by Matt Johnson and Jay McCarrol. It is a time travel adventure comedy film, and I will say this movie was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved all the other references to a bunch of other movies. I loved how it was basically just like a demented version of Back to the Future, but a little different. I don't know, I just thought it was a really fun time. But before we go on a whole tangent, I really like this film. I'll tell you why I really like this film and more. Back to house.
I don't want it. One, no. Ah! Into the open dome. Whole crowd's gonna go insane because like, what is this? Terrorist attack? Actually, we're coming in. We're gonna have the peace signs.
Okay, hold on.
As we float in.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Quite a long name, but this is a movie by and starring Matt Johnson and Jay McCarrol. This film is a Canadian time travel adventure comedy film based on the web series and television series of the same name, also made by Matt and Jay. And I'm just gonna go right into this. I'm gonna jump right into it. I think this movie was hell of a lot of fun, and I don't know, it gave me an experience of like just the whole movie. Even if I didn't laugh at every joke, I was still like, oh man, this is really fun. Like, even if, like, I didn't audibly laugh, I'm like, oh, man, that's funny. Like, that's fun. Like, it's goofy, it's dumb in a good way. It's a good dumb, right? Because it's like, self-aware. It's supposed to be dumb, right? Because, I mean, the whole premise of the movie is ridiculous and stupid. Even one of the characters, when they realize, like, one of the driving forces of the story, he's like, it can't be that dumb. Like, at one point, because he had, like, this really outdated, shitty drink from the 90s, right? That had, like, weird gelatin orbs in it. Or, like, cubes or whatever, doesn't matter. And, like, they had, like, you know, stopped making them in the late 90s. And he had his last bottle. And he had made this whole... Because the whole thing about Matt's character was that he was all about plans, right? He had to make a plan because they needed to... Because they were a band, right? Nirvana, the band, right? Except the fact that they never recorded a song or played a single show. They were like, for 17 years, they'd been making elaborate plans, like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get all this, generate all this buzz, and then we'll have a show that same night, and it's gonna all go crazy. And of course, their plan doesn't work, right? And it never works. And it's kind of like a cartoon a little bit, right? Or not even that. It just has like a kind of a loop where they try a new plan and it fails, and they try a new plan and it fails, and they try a new plan and it fails, right? That kind of like repetition. So Matt's all about plans in this movie, right? And his new plan, his best plan yet, is the time travel plan, where essentially, to boil it down, he's going to like deck out his entire RV, well, sections of his RV to look like the DeLorean, right? Flux capacitor and all in his fridge, right? But he accidentally, because like it's not a functional thing, it's just cosmetic, but he accidentally spills this shitty drink from the 90s on it, Orbits, and like it burns it, and he's like, oh, this is ruined and this and that, but the Orbits ends up powering up the flux capacitor, making it a real flux capacitor, and they go back in time, and then the whole movie, like the whole rest of the movie happens. But like the whole reason that it's Orbits in the first place is because the tagline on the back is, it's lightning in a bottle, right? And it's like, it's so stupid and ridiculous that even Matt, who's like a stupid and ridiculous character, he even goes, it can't be that dumb, right? And he figures it out. And then they have to, like, break into their old apartment and steal a case of the Orbits, because they had a giant case of it. And then it's like a whole thing, right? But that was just an example that I wanted to make for even, like, the film being self-aware of how dumb it is, right? Because, I mean, there's even, like, the whole, like, final stretch of the film very much mirrors Back to the Future in, like, a more modern setting. There's literally the scene with the cord not being able to not being able to reach the plug. So then, he kind of has, like, at the very last second, he's able to get it. Well, I'm not going to say that right now. I'll get to it. Either way, there is a lot of parallels to Back to the Future, and obviously that's intentional. They literally just made it the DeLorean. They just made their RV to the DeLorean. It's as blatant as they can get. And there are so many pop culture references in this, mainly from Back to the Future, because that makes the most sense narratively. There's also some others in there, mainly Back to the Future. However, I think that overall, just the whole package, I think, is just pure hectic chaos, right? It just elevates and elevates and elevates and elevates. The first half is so fucking chaotic and messy in a good way. Not messy in a bad way. It's just like what the fuck is happening type of shit, right? So then they go back and they have a whole argument when they're back in time. They were originally just going to go back without changing anything. They just wanted to get back to their timeline. But then they have an argument because Jay was going to leave Matt to go solo, because he had kind of gotten sick of Matt's plans and all that, and all the shit, like all the chicanery. He'd gotten sick of it, and Matt got offended. So then he's like, "Oh, you think you do better without me? Well, then let's see." Right? So then he wipes on the board and he says, "Don't play at the Rivali," which is the place that they want to play at, like event, like this little restaurant that they want to play at. And then they go back to the future. They go back to the future, and it's all different. And Jay's this, like, huge celebrity, right? He's, like, world famous. He's this great artist, right? So what's Matt still doing? He's 17 years later, still making plans to try to get into his concert, right? So basically, he was right? He would have been more successful than him if he just broke off. But essentially Matt goes to the concert because he has a backstage pass, and he's like, hey, we gotta redo this thing, right, so that we can both be in this place, right? And Jay knows that he was still the Jay from the time machine. It's not like the Jay that was in the time machine vanished and there was this new Jay. He tried to trick Matt into thinking that's what happened, but it isn't. And he basically just is he's just a complete asshole and, like, acts like he doesn't know who he is. Like, oh, I haven't seen this guy in 17 years, right? He's gotten a little fatter, he's mentally ill, just being an asshole, and gets him dragged out of the venue by security. And he's basically just like soaking up all the riches and fame and attention that he gets as a world famous artist, as a world famous musician. But as I said, these two are fucking idiots, right? So of course he's gonna fuck it up somehow, because again, he's not like the Jay from this timeline. He's the Jay from the original timeline. So he doesn't know really anything about, like, himself from this timeline. So he had this really fancy RV that was basically just like a house, essentially. It was like a small apartment. It was really decked out. They had a fucking marble floor bathroom. It was really decked out, and there was this, like, desert eagle on the wall. And earlier in the movie they had established that he loved playing with, like, toy guns, right? So he thought it was a toy gun. So he goes, "You guys didn't tell me you had a," and he just, like, fucking shoots some dude in the head, which was the most shocking and maybe even hilarious things in the movie. Because, like, it's funny because you forget that they established that earlier in the movie with the toy gun. You just thought it was, like, an awkward moment to be funny. But no, he fucking shoots a dude square in the face. Just like, I mean, he didn't know it was a real gun, but again, why wouldn't it be a real gun? Why would they just have, like, this super realistic, heavy-ass, like, prop gun? I mean, why was it loaded? I'm not exactly sure why it was loaded, but I mean, it just proves that both of them are complete morons. And that's the enjoyment of the film, is just seeing how these two idiots try to, like, fix what's going on, and also making it worse at the same time, right? Like, he couldn't have checked first to make sure it was loaded. No, he was confident that was a toy gun. And it was just like, what the fuck? I was in the theater like, holy shit. Like, the people that were in the theater were like, what the fuck with me? It was a fun experience. It was really fun. And basically, like, the whole first half is like that. It just escalates and escalates and escalates. And the second half, I think, is a little different, because obviously it's still escalating, because now he's a murderer and the cops are on his trail, right? And he's still being a dick to Matt, because he only wants to use the time machine again for his own selfish reasons, to go back 2 days in the past so that he doesn't murder that guy, right? So that he can still enjoy the fame. But eventually, like, he has a lot of like conflicted, he has a lot of conflictedness, or he's just conflicted. He's conflicted about it, because obviously Matt is his best friend, right? Matt is his best friend. So he's like thinking, like, do I really want to screw over my lifelong best friend for fame and riches? And eventually, at first, he's like, yeah, fuck him. He's like, I'm famous in this timeline. I'm all I need, right? And then, but at the end of the movie, as I said, they climbed to the top of this really high tower, because, like in Back to the Future, a specific time, lightning is going to strike on that tower, just like in Back to the Future. So then they have to plug it in to this outlet, like this outlet thing, and eventually it unplugs, like in Back to the Future. So Doc Brown, or like, he's not Doc Brown, but like, he is in the same role Matt is. So he has to climb all the way back to the top of the tower, and he connects it, and it's all great, but then it unplugs back in the area where it was originally plugged in, so then he has to go back again, and then he can't reach it. It's just there, but he can't get it. So then he has pliers that he bought like way before at the beginning of the movie, right? Which, again, you'd forget about, because you'd think it was just for, like, the opening of the movie where they had their original plan to fucking skydive off the tallest tower in Toronto and land into a fucking baseball stadium. But obviously, so the pliers were for that, and you'd forgotten about them, but he still had them. So, of course, and he had a conversation with an employee at the place where he bought it from, where the dude's like, oh, well, if you're using it to, snap, like, electrical wires, you'll get electrocuted. Which, I'm pretty sure that guy was just a worker that worked there. He didn't seem like an actor to me. So, like, them incorporating him, like, misunderstanding what they were talking about into the ending of the movie is actually kind of clever, right? I think that's, like, really cool. So then, but of course, he, like, jams the pliers into the outlet, and he's holding the wire so that, it, like, conducts through him, through the pliers into the outlet, so that it can still work. But then, in the moment, Jay's like, you know what? Fuck the fame. This is about the power of friendship, right? And then he goes back and he fixes it all. Instead of having it don't play at the Rivoli, he wipes away the don't, and it just says play at the Rivoli. And then at the very end, it's the exact same beginning. It's right back to the beginning. Right back to the beginning of the movie, where they're making the stadium plan again. But then he's like, well, hey, maybe we could do it earlier, so just in case they close the top of it for bad weather. And he's like, well, yeah, that's a great idea. We're going to do it earlier. And they don't show it, but maybe their plan goes right. Maybe they finally get that show at the Rivoli, potentially. Or maybe it still goes wrong, because it probably will. But there's a little bit of hope in there, and they're still friends, back to normal. But I don't know. I just thought the film, I know I'm just kind of rambling, but I just really enjoyed it. And I think it was a really, really fun time. And I think you would enjoy it too. I would highly recommend this film. I mean, obviously, I think this film could potentially be polarizing for people that can't really look past the film's obvious influences. Like, this film is very much an allusion to Back to the Future. And obviously that's intentional, and it's like used for comedic purposes. But if you're like, oh, I only want movies to be original or such and such, or if you just, I don't know, if you just don't like the idea of the film taking so many inspirations and running with them, maybe this movie isn't for you. But if you're okay with all that and you just want to watch a really fun movie, I think this is absolutely for you, and I think it's absolutely worth a watch. I think you should go to your local theater if it's playing. It's quite a limited release. Either way, you should watch this movie is all I'm saying. And with that being said, you may ask, Ronan, what would you review this movie? And even if you didn't ask...
Rate.
Oh. So, you might ask me, Ronan, what would you rate this movie? And even if you didn't ask that question, I don't care, I'm going to answer it anyway. This film, I think, is to me, an 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I have some apiece, I think I have something to say. So, guys, I hope you liked this video. Share it with friends, subscribe, turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say is if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, and tell me how much you hate me in the comments. And I've been Timmy off to thank my lucky stars. You know, so I was watching this movie, right? And there was like, since they went back in time, since it's a time travel movie, they went back to 2008, right? And they like basically every time travel thing, you have to have the billboard shot where it's all like, it's a billboard of everything that was going on at that time. And I mean, even Back to the Future has it. And they cut in there in Toronto. So there's a big billboard that says GTA 4. It's a giant GTA 4 advertisement. And the theater like, GTA 4, baby, yeah! I was really hoping that they would have had like a billboard shot when they went to like the future again. Right, well, Back to the Future. When they went back to the future, and it would have been like a GTA 6 billboard where the GTA 4 billboard was. I thought that would have been kind of funny, but they didn't do it. Either way. Because it's like we're only on 6 and it's been 17 years. That could have been a joke in of itself. And it's not even like a joke for the movie, it's just a real life joke.